Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to COD Zombies HQ. The excitement for the DLC season for Black Ops 4 is starting to ramp up as the release of the game is getting further behind us and the release of the first DLC map is coming sooner and sooner. Now, in general, we know that we've been promised 4 new Zombies maps as part of the Black Ops Pass. But in terms of what kinds of maps we'll be seeing as part of that Black Ops Pass, there's a big fog of secrecy around that. We haven't been told what kind of maps we'll be getting, whether it'll be exclusively Aether maps, whether it'll be exclusively Chaos Storyline maps, whether it'll be a mix of both. I imagine the most reasonable option would be 2 Chaos maps and 2 Aether maps, where Treyarch would rotate between them, with Chaos being DLC 1, Aether being DLC 2, Chaos DLC 3, and end off Black Ops 4's Black Ops Pass with a bang, the epic conclusion to the Aether storyline for a second time around in the form of a final Aether map. The great battle, Primis versus Dr. Monty. That would be an epic way to go, don't you think? And in terms of what we'll be doing in the Aether maps themselves, there has been a really good theory posted that I first heard from Mr. T Lexify, but a lot of people have talked about it since. And that is the objective for the Aether storyline maps within Black Ops 4 Zombies will be collecting the stones for the elemental staffs to use against Monty in the final battle. We saw in Blood of the Dead that Primis Richtofen was able to collect the elemental firestone that can be then outfitted into the fire staff. Primis Richtofen uses the power of the fire elemental stone to defeat the Warden once and for all, and we can assume that this Post-Revelations Richtofen is carrying it with him into the next map. In Classified, where the Ultimus and Primis universes will collide, we know that the main wonder weapon of that map is the Winter's Howl, which obviously turns zombies into ice. It almost seems like it has an elemental power to do so, the power of which could be exactly explained if the US government had the actual ice stone in their possession, and from researching the ice stone they were able to make the Winter's Howl. Now, the ice stone itself is the component that is necessary to create the Staff of Ice, and what makes this theory even more compelling is that the ice stone, or at least an elemental stone, is mentioned in a cipher in Classified, solved by Reddit user Rich Killer, who is without a doubt the most prominent cipher solver within the community. This guy is awesome. He solved this cipher on Classified, and here's what it said. It's going to be a letter penned by one Colonel Sawyer, dated 11th of July 1961, as a memorandum for the Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara. The title of the letter is Division 9 Acquisition and the Elemental Shard. Colonel Sawyer writes, "I've had my men examine all the materials acquired from Division 9 in 1946 and have been unable to find the Elemental Shard. According to our records, it was on the original manifest for the formal acquisition of materials and verified as delivered. So I'm more than a little perplexed as to where it ended up. I see 2 possibilities. It was lost or destroyed in transit, which seems highly unlikely given both its size and density. And number 2, it was intentionally taken from a specified individual and is being kept from us. As to who might have taken it, I have my suspicions. For several years, Groom Lake was our primary storage for all Division 9 materials. Perhaps Purnell may have some answers as to the fate of the Elemental Shard." Now, we know who Purnell is referring to. His name is Cornelius Purnell, and he is the station chief at Groom Lake, or Area 51. And it's while he's in charge at Groom Lake that this elemental stone goes missing. Also at Groom Lake is various captured Group 935 scientists, all doing intensive research into Element 115 for the benefit of the US government. Well, and this is where everything comes together so perfectly. The Winter's Howl, an elemental weapon that turns zombies into ice, was created as the prototype for Project Scotty. And where do we find that Winter's Howl prototype if not in Area 51, Groom Lake, the location of the missing elemental stone? Now, during the classified ending cutscene, we simply got a meeting between Primis and Ultimus. We didn't see any mention of the elemental stone. But there's always a possibility that with the number of Group 935 scientists working at Groom Lake, that perhaps once Richtofen's mental state was revived, that Ultimus Richtofen was able to obtain that elemental stone. Or secondly, like Jason Blundell says, some of the most important story elements happen off screen between cutscenes. That would mean that Primis possesses both the Fire Stone used to create the Fire Staff and the Ice Stone used to create the Ice Staff before we even get to the first Zombies map. Now, like I said earlier, it seems to me the most likely option for the Black Ops Pass season is that we'll be getting 2 Chaos Storyline maps and 2 Aether Storyline maps, which would fit perfectly into the theory as there is 2 more elemental stones to collect. In terms of what stone is going to be following the Ice Staff, there is very good indications that that will be the Wind Stone, and the map itself will be set in London. Now, we know that a London Zombies map was recently teased as far back as Der Reisendrache in Black Ops 3, making a zombies outbreak in London canon as we did a certain Easter egg. Ever since then, there's been huge rumors in the zombies community that we'll be getting a map set in London itself. Well, recently it was revealed that Jason Blundell and his team visited London for a period of time without really telling anybody why, with the most prominent theory being that he was location scouting for the first Aether Zombies map that would be included in the Black Ops Pass, where our characters would pick up the Windstone. London being the capital of the British Empire at the time these events would be taking place, it's not so far-fetched to think that the British government might themselves be in possession of an elemental shard, just like the US government was in Groom Lake. There's also a possibility, considering the extremely long inhabited history of London and the prominence of secret societies within the city throughout its history, like the Knights Templar for instance, that at one point perhaps the Wind Elemental Stone might have been moved to some kind of secure or secret location within that city. A location that the Chronorium reveals to our Primis crew, where they'll successfully be able to obtain the 3rd out of 4 elemental shards from London. So after that map, we would have 3 out of 4 staffs completed, leaving just one left, the Staff of Lightning. And if we know a place to be connected to lightning within the zombies storyline, it's Argartha itself, which would fit perfectly into this narrative we've crafted, where our characters enter Argartha to obtain the Lightning Stone. In this arena, this map of Argartha, it's our final battle with Dr. Monty, with the goal of the Easter egg to actually craft the 4 elemental staffs from the 4 elemental stones we collected, band together, and defeat Dr. Monty once and for all. Finally breaking the cycle that Primis has traveled over and over and over again, and triggering, hey, for real this time, the ending of the zombies storyline that we know and love and will have been following for over 10 years at that point. I'm not sure what you guys think, but for me, that would be one epic way to end the Aether storyline. Primis with their staffs, victorious in the Aether over Dr. Monty. But that's just a theory, a game, not doing that. But that wraps up this video, guys. I'd love to hear what you think of this theory down in the description of this video. It seems to fit pretty well with what we know about Black Ops 4 so far, don't you think? If you did end up enjoying the video, be sure to tippity tap that thumbs up button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A huge shout out to everybody in the notification squad with that bell icon turned on. You guys are awesome. But I want to thank you very much once again for watching, and I'll see you with another Zombies news video tomorrow. Peace.